Okay, so it seems that there's been a ton of hype behind a lot of the stuff that's been going on currently with Suisei and her new agency, right? And this has been a pretty crazy one that people have been trying to unpick lately, as it was recently announced that, essentially Suisei would be managed by Studio Stella, which is a new kind of, agency or whatever that she has kind of established, and will be running all of her own kind of, solo endeavors, whether it's music, whether it's streams, whether it's merch, whether it's literally anything, right? They will be kind of running it, and it's run by a lot of really nice people. And there's a big announcement as well by Cover, essentially announcing this as well, and it seems like she will be an affiliate of Hololive. Essentially, she doesn't own the IP to her kind of actual model or anything, but she is still an affiliate to Hololive, right? So that is 100% going to be the case. A lot of people were wondering if she's going to like leave like altogether, or if there's going to be like no more collabs or anything. No, that's still going to happen. It seems like she's still going to be interacting with Hololive a lot. And as I said, Hololive still own the IP and everything like that. It's just that she has a better management system to kind of work out a lot of the things that have been going on with her, because of course she's blown up massively. She's gotten a ton of popular songs. She's gotten a ton of success in terms of people looking at her, and it seems like they want to elevate that further by having a team that is kind of dedicated to her, rather than an over like kind of branching Hololive thing. Because obviously Hololive in general, they take care of a lot of VTubers, but obviously Suisei is kind of getting her own team that she's established, and yeah, very, very cool to see. A lot of people are excited behind that, and it is really, really, really great. But yeah, as I said, there's been a lot of confusion in regards to whether she's affiliated with Hololive, whether she's leaving Hololive, whether there's something else going on. That is not the case. As I said, she's still affiliated with them. It just means that things are slightly a little bit different, but not too much different to the point where like any kind of content is really going to change that much, I don't think. But yeah. There's been a lot of reactions though to this, because obviously we covered this in the last video and we went through this entire article, if you guys want to go back and look at that. But again, there's already been obviously a page that's been put up for Studio Stella here. As you guys can see, it's got 67,000 followers, and that is literally, it joined in March, so I think it was literally made recently. Yeah, literally March 2026 it was made. So again, this was made not too long ago, and it's already got 67,000 followers, which I think really tells you how popular this is going to be. And again, it provides a really, really kind of great opportunity for Suisei to kind of, further her career, right? Further her musical career. And it seems like a lot of Hololive members have been kind of, looking at this and actually kind of praising Suisei for how far she has gone, right? And obviously you got Mori Calliope here saying, no longer a mere rough stone, but a diamond that everyone yearns for. It's brilliant. So yeah, obviously that is in reference to Suisei, and so many people have been leaving nice comments for her down here saying Suisei is so ambitious that she's not content with being a polished diamond. She wants to be more than that. Her brilliance isn't just limited to one star, but rather to a constellation, right? This is why I love Hololive. She started on her own, worked out that she needed help and looked for an agency, and applied multiple times, then gets accepted. And not having her own agency, man, Hoshimachi Suisei and everyone at Hololive, ENJP and ID, they're such an inspiration to us all. And again, so I agreed. Shine on, super bright, and again, so many people very happy for Suisei as well. And you also got Bells here as well saying, I'm at a loss for words. Even before joining Hololive, I've always admired you, and working together, singing together, and playing together all this time has made me truly feel that Senpai is a beacon of hope. As a junior and as a fan, I'm so excited to see how far we can go from here. I'll keep cheering you on forever. So yeah, obviously, Bells will be continuing to support. I say we will continue to support Suisei no matter what. Even if she's moving towards her own thing beyond Cover while still being affiliated with Hololive. Yeah, 100%, right? And it seems like she is going to, look to do some more solo stuff and maybe, push this music thing even further, which I think is absolutely amazing, of course. And, but she will still be interacting with Hololive members, will be still doing Hololive events and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously a lot of people confused about that. But again, just to kind of clear that up, right? Because then I think she is one of your best role models. Let's all do our best to follow in her footsteps. And yeah, so many people leaving supportive messages for Suisei, which I think it's just great to see, right? Because again, it isn't very often that you see a VTuber doing this successfully in terms of being able to, you know, make her own agency, kind of where she could, you know, handle her own stuff and getting to this point, right? And having such a kind of large fan base and large, you know, career now whenever it comes to music and, you know, a whole lot more, because, you know, she has so many different skill sets. I think it's kind of crazy, you know, how much she could actually really do. And there's been so much support as well from other Hololive members too. It's just, you know, kind of hard to find the replies and stuff. But again, those were the two kind of big ones that I kind of wanted to show you guys, because of course, Bells and Mori. And I really hope that, you know, obviously there's been a lot of people discussing whether, you know, this is going to put pressure on other Hololive members, right? Is this going to put pressure on them in terms of to do well and to succeed and get to the point where Suisei is at, where she can, you know, do this kind of stuff? And again, I don't think it will, you know. I know many people want to look at it from like a negative angle, thinking, you know, maybe they're going to be even more like feeling down or whatever because they're not going to reach that point or something. But I think honestly, it will just motivate, you know, members more to kind of continue doing what they're doing, to continue doing better things, because of course they now have the kind of, you know, proof within Suisei that, you know, if you do better things, you can get a really great outcome, you know, whenever it comes to, you know, having that agency and all that kind of stuff, right? You know, you can, you know, go even further and you're not limited by being in Hololive or anything like that, because many people think that, you know, of course, with VTuber agencies and whatever, you know, you're limited in what you can say, what you can do, whatever. But to be honest, you know, it kind of shows you that you can go even further, right? You can go further with Hololive, and you can, you know, do all of this crazy stuff, right? And I think that is honestly just only motivating, I think, for the other VTubers within Hololive, unless maybe they got a kind of negative mindset, but I don't think any of them do, right? I think honestly they just want to support their friend and also you know, maybe work towards something similar, right? Especially people, for example, like Mori Calliope, who's been doing a ton of stuff recently, as we've talked about on this channel before. She's been doing, you know, she's done collabs with Suisei before on a song, right? And of course, she's been doing like anime collabs, all of this kind of stuff. And she's also, I think, reaching the point where, you know, she could get a similar kind of thing that happens with her as well. Which again, I don't know if that would be the case. I don't know if that's something that she's interested in. But of course, you know, she is getting to that kind of popularity and that notoriety, especially over in Japan, to the point where I think, you know, she could also be similar to Suisei in terms of like getting, you know, some kind of special management or whatever to kind of handle all of this kind of stuff, because it is getting pretty big, right? But obviously for now, it is just Suisei, and, you know, they have a ton of stuff up on the Studio Stella kind of page if you guys want to go look at that. She also actually released a new music video as well, which came across that, which again, the music was so good. Again, she always makes such great music, and the animation was insane as well, as always. So again, it seems like we're going to get even more of this in the future, right? And even more production quality levels like this with the amount of support that she has behind her, and now that she can kind of control a little bit more behind, you know, a lot of the things that she puts out too, right? Also, there's been some like merch and things too, and again, I think this is kind of like the start, right? This is the start where people were starting to see how Studio Stella is going to operate, and I think this song and a lot of the merch and stuff that they've been putting out is the first kind of you know, tester, right, to see like, you know, will this work, what can we do? And again, I think it is the perfect time to do so. Obviously this is for her 8th anniversary stuff, and it seems like it is being run by Studio Stella, right? It says, you know, down here, copyright Studio Stella, copyright cover. So again, cover is still involved in it, you know, it's in some kind of capacity. Of course, they still own the IP and all of that kind of stuff. So again, that is something to kind of, I guess, keep an eye on, right? But you know, it seems that Studio Stella are doing the management side of things, which of course maybe Cover and Hololive would have done before that. But again, I do think it does provide a very good opportunity for Suisei in the future, and also potentially for other members in the future as well. And again, obviously they call it Studio Stella. I think it is pretty interesting because, of course, right now it is only for Suisei, right? It is only for her, and it's only controlling a lot of her talent and stuff like that. But I'm interested to see if, you know, they're planning on expanding, because of course they call it something very like generalized, right? Studio Stella seems like a company that would, you know, have a lot of talent underneath their kind of roster, right? And not just one person. Maybe, you know, it's just like not the case, and they just want to keep it for Suisei. That could 100% be the case as well. But I definitely do think there could be plans in the future to maybe expand who is under Studio Stella and who is being managed by them. Because of course, you know, I think maybe Suisei could be the first one. They might get like a handle on like how things work and you know, things that they can improve on or whatever. And then maybe in the future they could potentially, get some more people under their belt, whether it's another Hololive member or, someone else, right? Again, I don't know. We'll have to see. But of course, that is a kind of update on what is going on with Suisei and some of the kind of people that have been reacting and responding to the huge news that she is now with Studio Stella and actually doing a lot of management stuff within Studio Stella, which I think is really, really cool. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.